What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, February 28th, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 22:21 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we still have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert. We have four Boeing E-6B Mercury Tacoma planes in the air right now tonight, and that's a total of six of these Boeing E-6B Mercuries in the air today. That is a lot, guys. Before the Ukraine war started, I would be lucky to see even just one every single day. And now we're seeing 4, 5, 6, even 7 of these in the air every single day. And I also have a source who is a licensed ham radio operator. And this person updates me on all things related to radios and what's going on with the nuclear forces over the radio waves. And he was telling me that the high frequency global communication system was very active today. Apparently, there were multiple emergency action messages today. Okay, the high frequency global communication system is the primary frequencies that are used by the U.S. military to communicate with nuclear forces before a nuclear war. Now, during and after a nuclear war, they would use these Boeing E-6B Mercuries, and they would transmit through VLF, very low frequency, in order to prevent degradation of the signals, okay, of the transmissions, because radiation can interfere with high bandwidth transmissions. So then they switch to very low frequency after the bombs start to land. So very high activity on the radio frequencies used to communicate with nuclear forces today, and 6 nuclear war command and control planes in the air today for this evening. This is extremely unusual. We have some breaking news coming in about NATO sending troops into Ukraine. I have some updates about that. The Ukrainian president, Vladimir Zelensky, said today in Albania, when he was meeting with the leaders of Croatia, that the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, will be discussing the idea of NATO troops being deployed on Ukrainian territory when he arrives in Ukraine in mid-March. Okay, so that's in just 2 weeks. Zelensky is going to be talking with Macron in Ukraine about the possibility of NATO troops being deployed in Ukraine. This is huge, guys. Latvia stated that they will consider the possibility of sending their troops to Ukraine if there's a corresponding agreement reached among NATO allies. Okay, so Latvia is willing to do this now. This was reported by the German media outlet Tagesschau, and the Dutch defense minister said yesterday that there is no point in discussing sending Western troops to Ukraine now, but the allies should be open to all possible options. Okay, so the Dutch defense minister not ruling it out, saying that there's no point to do it now, but that they shouldn't rule that out entirely. And Finland has not prohibited Ukraine from using the weapons transferred to Ukraine from Finland on the territory of the Russian Federation. This was stated by the head of the Finnish Parliamentary Defense Committee, Jukka Kopra. Okay, so Finland is going to allow Ukraine to use their weapons on Russian territory. Okay, that is huge news. And 2 days ago on Monday, Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, held a meeting with all NATO allies about the topic of sending troops into Ukraine. I mean, this is huge, guys. Just the fact that they discussed it is huge. All right. It means that they're thinking about it. And if they're thinking about it, that means eventually it's going to happen. And I think that this whole war in Ukraine is just going to end in nuclear war. To be honest, I think Putin is going to end up using tactical nukes. And we had some breaking news come out earlier today from the Financial Times that Russia was wargaming various scenarios for using tactical nuclear weapons. These were some Russian leaked documents that the Financial Times obtained. And in these documents, it said that Russia revised their nuclear doctrine, their nuclear weapons doctrine, to allow for a lower threshold to use tactical nuclear weapons. Specifically, the document said that the destruction of 20% of Russia's strategic ballistic missile submarines would be justification to use tactical nuclear weapons. Any enemy incursion on Russian territory would be justification to use tactical nuclear weapons. Okay, any enemy incursion. So what does that mean? If Ukraine sends its military over the border, if NATO forces cross into Russia, according to Russia's nuclear war doctrine, that would be justification to use tactical nuclear weapons. The destruction of 3 or more large surface warships, Ukraine has already destroyed 4. The destruction of 3 airfields, the destruction of 30% of Russia's nuclear-powered attack subs, and simultaneous hits on main and reserve coastal command centers. Okay, so Russia has lowered their threshold for using tactical nuclear weapons, and they were wargaming different scenarios. This is very concerning, guys, and another sign that Russia is preparing for war with NATO. Okay, this is no longer about just Ukraine anymore. We are now heading into the phase of the war that I was warning you guys about when this war first started. I told you eventually this was going to end in NATO versus Russia, and that eventually this was going to end with Russia using tactical nukes on Ukraine, and we're approaching that point, okay? So get prepared, guys. Make sure you brush up on your nuclear war survival skills. Check out my nuclear war survival videos. I'll leave links in the top right corner. I've made over 50 videos on nuclear war survival. And also check out my website, NYPrepper.com. I have free information on nuclear war survival. I have reference information that I'm also going to be updating probably tonight, okay? So get prepared. Things are about to get crazy. Everything is just escalating. And the United States said today that it stood by Moldova's sovereignty after rebel officials in the breakaway Transnistria region appealed to Russia for protection. The United States firmly supports Moldova's sovereignty and territorial integrity within its internationally recognized borders, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller told reporters. Given Russia's increasingly aggressive and destabilizing role in Europe, we are watching Russia's actions in Transnistria and the broader situation there very closely. Okay, so the U.S. standing by Moldova. What that means, we don't know. It's just words. Okay, would the U.S. actually help Moldova if they got attacked by Russia? We don't know. We do know, though, that as part of this massive NATO quote-unquote exercise, that NATO troops will be going into Moldova, and they're going to be doing training with the Moldovan military, okay? So NATO is deploying forces to Moldova as part of this quote-unquote exercise, which, like I've said before, is just a forward deployment, okay? They're moving 100,000 troops to Eastern Europe from Finland all the way down to Moldova and Romania. And right now, Poland is holding its largest exercise ever with NATO, okay? Over 30,000 NATO troops are in Poland right now doing exercises. So something's going on, guys. It's not about an exercise. The exercise is a cover story, okay? You see all these nuclear warplanes in the air every day. The other day, there was a presidential doomsday plane that went from Offutt Air Base to Colorado Springs, which is where Cheyenne Mountain is located. Cheyenne Mountain is a continuity of government bunker for the president and VIPs. Okay, we had 7 nuclear war command and control planes in the air last week. Today we have 6. This is insane, guys. Something is about to go down. What it is, I don't know, but the Ukrainian front lines are collapsing. Ukraine has run out of ammunition. They're running out of men because Ukraine has a much smaller population than Russia. Russia can just easily draft, 500,000 men and send them to the front as, human waves. Okay, Ukraine cannot afford to do that. They have a smaller population, and a lot of Ukraine's people left Ukraine when the war started. Okay. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewith NYPrepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. This is a 1-month freeze-dried food supply. It has a 25-year shelf life. Normal price is $237. They've dropped it down to $177. So that's a savings of $60. And it's all packed within 2 rugged, water-resistant buckets. Free shipping is included. $177 for 1 month of food. Where are you going to find a deal like that? They also have a general store, and they're always running discounts in their general store on various prepping and survival items. They have everything from MREs, potassium iodide, to survival seeds. And to get to their general store, you got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page when you get to preparewithNYPrepper.com. And you'll see when you get there, they have everything you can imagine. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get $60 off the My Patriot Supply 1-month emergency food supply. That's $180 for 1 month of food, free shipping included. The link is in the description below this video. And also check out their general store. They have everything you can imagine prepping and survival related, and they're always running various discounts there. So it's not looking good for Ukraine, and I think that's why NATO is now scrambling, and they're trying to figure out what to do, because NATO has run out of reserve ammunition that they've been using to give to Ukraine. Okay, they've been giving Ukraine all the surplus stuff that they have, and they don't have any more of the surplus stuff. Okay, at this point, they have just enough left for themselves, and NATO doesn't want to start giving away the core of their ammunition to Ukraine, because then they're not going to have anything left for themselves if Russia decides to invade the Baltics or Finland or Poland or Sweden or Romania, Moldova, whatever. Okay, so NATO's stuck between a rock and a hard place now, because they don't have a lot of ammunition that they can just give away anymore. And it's going to take months, if not years, to replenish all the artillery shells they gave to Ukraine so far. And because the West is not in a wartime production mode like Russia is, the West has fallen behind on the production of the shells. Okay. And also, Russia just purchased like millions of artillery shells from North Korea. Okay. So once Russia gets those million-plus artillery shells from North Korea, and they draft another 250,000 troops, it's going to be bad. Okay. I think Russia is going to take large swaths of Ukrainian territory unless something serious is done very soon. Okay. So NATO may decide to send their forces in to slow that down and plug the leak, so to speak, until they get more artillery and shells, and they can send it to the Ukrainians. That's what I'm thinking. And also, obviously, the situation with Transnistria. They obviously don't want Russia to annex Transnistria, because that would be like another Kaliningrad for Russia, but in the Black Sea. And then they could completely seal off the Black Sea. So Ukraine doesn't have access to the Black Sea, which would be devastating for Ukraine's economy, because they're reliant on the Black Sea to ship out all that grain. Okay. So this is a very, very serious situation, and it's continuing to escalate day by day. And tomorrow we're going to find out if Russia is going to annex Transnistria or not. And with all these events going on, I will go live 24/7 if I have to, if serious things break out. Okay. And Politico is reporting that a group of Belarusian dissidents say they are planning a coup against Alexander Lukashenko, the president of Belarus. Apparently, this plan is going to be executed at the right time. And the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said on Wednesday that tensions in Moldova's breakaway region of Transnistria were dangerous for the region. And Prime Minister Attal of France said that the reality is that Russia is a direct and immediate threat to France on all levels. Wow, guys. So the Prime Minister of France saying that Russia is a direct threat to France. That is very strong. And Erdogan, the president of Turkey, said that Turkey is ready to provide a platform for negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. So Turkey is sensing that this is not going to end well. And they're trying to work something out because they don't want to have a nuclear war just to the north of them. Okay. And so Erdogan, he's not stupid. He knows that Putin's not going to give up and it's going to end in nuclear bombs going off just to the north of Turkey. And he wants to stop that from happening. Okay. Polish truckers are apparently withdrawing from their planned blockade of one of the border crossings with Ukraine. Apparently, one of the reasons was that there was a fear that it would bolster traffic from Belarus and that Belarusian truckers would gain while they block the border with Ukraine. So they definitely don't want to help Belarus. And Zelensky met with the Croatian prime minister today to discuss ammunition for Ukraine. They met in Tirana, Albania, and Russia struck the Kurakovskaya thermal power plant 15 kilometers from Kurakov in the Donetsk Oblast. This is west of Avdiivka, and I want to show you guys some more of the gains that Russia has made just in the last 24 hours. I mean, they're capturing a lot of territory, guys, in very short order, and they haven't even mobilized yet. They haven't even gotten all the artillery from North Korea yet. And apparently Russia is attempting to push Ukrainian troops out of Krinky using human waves. So let me just show you guys some more of these flight paths here today. Here was one of the nuclear war command and control planes that was airborne earlier today. Here we have two of them that were up in the air earlier this afternoon, and one of them with the call sign Rough 07 is back up in the air now. So it was up in the air twice, guys. It's really strange for there to be a nuclear war command and control plane in the air twice in the same day. That's pretty unusual. Okay, so something is going on. Here's more of the nuclear war command and control planes that were airborne here. And there was a B-52 that flew from Vegas to Barksdale Air Force Base earlier this afternoon. I want to update you guys on the situation with the Pantex plant, which is just east of Amarillo, Texas. We have those wildfires raging just a few miles away from our primary nuclear weapon assembly facility. Okay. As of right now, there are no fires that are immediately threatening the base, but we have all these fires here just a few miles away from this base or facility. And here you can see just, massive amount of area covered in fires here. Okay, these red colors represent fires that are identified by satellite. And the blue circle here is where the Pantex plant is located. And this was taken last night. And you can see there were several fires within just 3 miles of the facility last night. And what's interesting is today, this same satellite is showing much of these fires that were within 3 miles of the plant have now been put out. So I don't know if they put them out, if they burn themselves out, or if NASA is trying to hide the truth because this is a NASA satellite and they don't want people panicking. So they just went ahead and removed some of these red squares that identify the locations of fires. Okay. And here's a closer screenshot from late last night. They evacuated the plant last night and they built fire protective barriers all around the plant. And they also instituted their emergency plan. And today, apparently, they allowed people to go into work. But you can see there were like half a dozen fires here just within 3 miles of the facility last night. And even worse, you have like hundreds of fires just 10 to 15 miles to the north of the facility. So if these fires work their way south, that's going to be bad, guys. That's going to be bad. I mean, look at how close these fires were last night to the facility. I mean, super close. And then here we have the current satellite, and you can see all these fires have now disappeared. The ones that were really close, you can see much of them disappeared. There's still like 1, 2, or 3 that are within 4 or 5 miles distance, but I don't know if they scrubbed that to prevent panic or if these fires just burn themselves out, but I'll keep an eye on that for you. I want to show you guys the advancement of the Russian forces in eastern Ukraine. So we're looking at Donetsk here, and this is where the front line is today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to yesterday, and you can see in just one day, look at how much territory they gained. Okay, so this was yesterday. And then this is today, yesterday, today, yesterday, today. And this area where they hit the thermal power plant is just to the west of here, okay? Right here, Kurakivka, okay, which in Russian they call Kurakovka, okay? But they hit this area right here. There's a thermal power plant here. So Russia's moving in. They're moving west. NATO's running out of options, and I think they're going to have to send troops in. That's what it seems like. And here we have some video footage of Russia building a new railroad line along the Sea of Azov. Okay, so they're trying to build new rail lines further away from the front lines. Okay, so this was filmed somewhere in the Donetsk Oblast or Zaporizhia. Okay. And there were new airstrikes this evening by the Israeli Air Force on the suburbs of Damascus. And there were also Israeli F-35s spotted over southern Lebanon. Here's a picture of that F-35. Look at that thing. That is pretty rare to see. Okay, so the situation between Lebanon and Israel is just escalating every single day. It looks like we're going to have 2 main war fronts spiral out of control in the coming weeks and months. We have Israel and Hezbollah, and then we're going to have Russia and Ukraine, and they're going to really boil over in the coming months. And here we have a picture of that Israeli airstrike in Damascus. This was another one. They launched more airstrikes earlier this morning, okay? And apparently in Israel, there are widespread power outages tonight in Eilat. Eilat is a port city in southern Israel on the Red Sea. Apparently, electricity was cut off to a number of hotels and businesses for unknown reasons. And we have this Israeli media outlet, MENA, reporting that Israel and Hezbollah are preparing for a large-scale war, according to military and security sources who are saying that if the Israeli army does not go into Lebanon soon, it will have to in the long run. Okay, so Israel realizes they have to go in now, because if they don't go in now, it's just going to get worse. Okay, Hezbollah is going to get more weapons from Iran. They're going to get more artillery, more missiles, more everything. Okay, and then it's going to be harder to deal with them later on. So thank God that Israel has a strong leader that, is not willing to, that's not afraid to stand up to all the pressure. And a German naval frigate sent to protect commercial ships in the Red Sea nearly shot down a U.S. drone by mistake, according to German media. The German Defense Ministry confirmed a drone incident involving an allied nation occurred on Monday without naming the country. The Hess frigate opened fire after efforts to identify an unknown drone were unsuccessful. Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said during a visit to the German town of Oberviachtach, adding, however, that the target was not hit. The drone later turned out to be a reconnaissance drone, he said. According to Der Spiegel, the frigate fired 2 missiles at the drone, but both crashed into the sea because of a technical defect, Spiegel said without citing its sources. And apparently the drone was a U.S. Reaper drone. Okay, so this is bad. Germany tries to shoot down one of our Reaper drones. Okay, that's bad enough that there's no communication. We're not really communicating well with them. That shows that there's no cohesion between allies. That makes us look bad. And then even worse, the German missiles failed. Okay. So it's just like a double whammy there. And apparently there's now evidence that U.S. reconnaissance planes operating along China's coastline in support of Taiwan's sovereignty are disguising themselves with civilian hex codes. Okay, so they're basically trying to hide themselves from flight trackers. That would be like the equivalent of putting a police license plate on your car. If you're not a police person, you're not obviously not supposed to do that. But then everybody would think you're some kind of police officer driving down the road or some kind of government official. Okay, so that's basically what they're doing. And Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano erupted 13 times in the past day, prompting airport delays. Volcanic ash from the Popocatépetl volcano disrupted flights out of Mexico City's largest airport on Tuesday and caused another airport even closer to the volcano to temporarily suspend activity. Mexico City's Benito Juarez International Airport said at least 22 flights were canceled due to safety concerns after ash was found in some planes during safety checks. Other flights were rerouted to different parts of Mexico. In Puebla, a city close to the volcano, airport operations were temporarily suspended on Wednesday due to the gas and fumes coming from the Popo. The airport said staff was hard at work cleaning up the ash floating down from above. Mexico City's airport also warned Wednesday that operations could be suspended, with its website showing a number of cancellations and delays. Our priority is safety in operations, the airport's official account posted on Twitter, adding that it is continually monitoring flight conditions. According to the airport, the ash has produced a slew of safety concerns. Volcanic ash is especially dangerous for aviation, not only because it reduces visibility, but also because it can act as an abrasive, damaging an aircraft's wings and fuselage. In airports, the ash can coat runways, hurt airport personnel, and cause a number of other logistical issues. And an Illinois state judge on Wednesday has barred Donald Trump from appearing on the Illinois Republican presidential primary ballot because of his role in the January 6th situation. And Mitch McConnell is going to step down as the Senate's Republican leader in November. And here we have some video footage showing the White House press secretary saying that Biden does not need a cognitive test as part of his physical. He had a physical done today, and they said he checked out good, but that they did not include a cognitive test, and she was saying that he didn't need one. So let's just listen to what she had to say earlier.
About a cognitive test. As it relates to that, look, the president doesn't need a cognitive test. That is not my assessment. That is not my assessment. That is the assessment of the president's doctor. That is also the assessment of the neurologist, who has also made that assessment as well. And, and you've heard us say this, and I'll reiterate this, the president's doctor has said, if you look at what this president, the president who is also the commander-in-chief, he passes a cognitive test every day, as he moves from one topic to another topic, understanding the granular level of these topics. You saw him talk about fighting crime today. Tomorrow he's going to go to the border. Next week he's going to give a State of the Union address. And so we have to keep about a cognitive.
So she said that the president's doctor and neurologist said he didn't need a cognitive test. So that's the latest breaking news that I have, guys. Things are really escalating in Ukraine. I think we're going to see something big happen this year and next year. I think we're going to see Russia invade the Baltics possibly and a war with NATO. So get prepared. I'm going to continue to monitor all these situations. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell down below so you get notified when I post these updates. And if for whatever reason you don't get notified, if you haven't seen an update from me in a couple of hours, because I usually post 2 videos a day, if you don't see at least one video for an entire day from me, that means that you didn't get notified for whatever reason. So then you just need to go and check my channel. Okay, just type in NYPrepper, one word, NYPrepper, no space between NY and Prepper. Just type NYPrepper, one word, and you should see my channel pop up and my latest upload. So until tomorrow, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.
With all due respect, that I understand you're on the Russian payroll, and I understand this is a Russian propaganda, but you have to be very careful, because let me tell you, we're going to finish this war. We're going to win because we're stronger. After this, Russia will pay the price. Believe me, Russia will pay the price. Russia is supporting the enemies of Israel. Russia is supporting Nazi people who want to commit genocide on us, and just Russia will pay the price. Russia also. Now, listen to me very carefully. We are going to finish with these Nazis. We're going to win this war. It's going to take the time it's going to take, but we're going to win this war. Afterwards, we're not forgetting what you are doing. We're not forgetting. We will come. We will make sure that Ukraine wins. We will make sure that you pay the price for what you have done. You as Russia, and you and as all the enemies of Israel, and you as all the people who are now making everything they can to support genocide of the Jews in Israel. We are not forgetting. We are not forgetting. Remember exactly what I'm saying now. You will pay the price.